Yeah, what is up?
What's crapping?
Two guys, one belt. We want to welcome our new subscribers. Just going to shoot the shit this episode of Two Guys, One Belt. Just debate it out.
We got a week till SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver, so we might as well just save the predictions for next week.
Right now, we're going to talk about NXT at Barclay Center, right? That's what you want to talk about?
We're going to start off with NXT, of course. The news I really want to talk about with NXT is the fact that the night before SummerSlam, not the night after, not the week after, the night before SummerSlam, NXT will be performing in front of a sold-out Barclay Center, 13,000 plus.
Do we know if SummerSlam sold out yet?
Is SummerSlam even sold out yet?
Does anybody know if SummerSlam sold out yet?
You know for a fact NXT is sold out.
Which I still think is pretty astonishing.
It's mind-blowing. You know, we talked about it when we did our takeover thing in February for that show. NXT creating its own animal and own monster. Is this that step where it's becoming its own brand even more?
I have a question for you. If it wasn't the night before SummerSlam and there already wasn't a bunch of wrestling fans in New York, New Jersey area, would it have sold 13,000?
Maybe if it wasn't necessarily at the Barclay Center. If the question is, can they handle their own 13,000 plus arena on their own in a weekend? Yes. But maybe not necessarily in Brooklyn. Maybe you got me there. Maybe if they did that in Florida.
Yeah.
If they went down to Orlando and did where the Magics play.
What if it wasn't live streamed and it was just a regular filmed, just taped episode? I don't think at all.
And I don't believe so as well. I compared it to WrestleMania 3. If you look back in the history, WrestleMania 3 was originally supposed to be in an arena in Michigan. They were even thinking about Chicago, and then Vince went to the Pontiac Silverdome and was like, holy crap.
Don't you mean the Superdome?
God damn it.
The Silverdome.
Vince decided to put it in the Pontiac Silverdome. It's kind of like how I feel like that was. They're like, all right, we want to do a show the same weekend as SummerSlam. Let's look at this arena. And then Triple H had the balls to say, why not just do it in Barclay Center? And then they're like, all right, 6,000, 7,000 tickets. No, how about 13,000, a sold-out crowd? I mean, it's just like the evolution of what it was supposed to be and what it now is just proving that NXT is.
And I still think that shows the dedication of fans of pure wrestling are more willing to go to an NXT show than a WWE show.
And I'm assuming there is a lot of fans that have both. But
yes.
If there is a hardcore fan and they lay out their money and realize what I can spend that weekend, I'll be in Brooklyn that weekend of SummerSlam.
Exactly.
They're going to have a debate whether or not they wanted to go to NXT or SummerSlam. I promise you.
Well, that person's going to save up enough money, and they're going to get both.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, they're going to take out a fucking loan if they have to. They're going to go to the bank. What's this loan for?
I got to get that extra SummerSlam ticket in there, too.
I need a $300 loan for my NXT ticket. Do you think that's going to put a lot of pressure on the NXT roster, seeing as they are the developmental people?
Yes.
That's got to put a lot of pressure on them, seeing as it is actually going to be aired live, and you're in front of 13,000 people. These people don't do that much. Like, again, Columbus, 5,000 people is the most they've ever been in front of.
I'll just say this. It's going to be all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Because the people that don't perform, they're going to really be chopping at the bits after this show, especially if Vince McMahon has even a tiny bit of say in NXT.
Yeah.
Which I know he'll be watching that show. If someone performs bad at that show, especially some of those marquee people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh.
Trust me.
I would not want to be in a meeting on Sunday about what you did on Saturday.
Time to play the game and Triple H.
Yeah.
So we'll transition to a show I don't really want to dive into what's going on in the show, rather the structure of the show, and that's Tough Enough. Before I get anything, I think the three best wrestlers in the show have already been out and gone: Mada, Patrick, and Chelsea. The structure of the show, the fan voting. Do you have a problem with the fan voting?
The structure is my only problem, and with the show, and the only reason I don't watch it every week. The reason is because I know ZZ's not the best. I give him a hard time saying I'm going to vote for ZZ all the time. But it's just not what's best for business.
In all honesty.
It should be like the fans vote for who they think should be in the bottom two.
Right.
And those people
they decide.
Or they could do it that way. I didn't even think about that. Or they have a challenge, and whoever wins the challenge gets to move on. That way,
a challenge style show.
Yeah, that way it's more of a who's better than who instead of who the fan likes more.
And I think that is the reason we might not even get to see a second season is because their idea was, let's make it the most social show WWE has.
Which you can still do that. You just have to alter.
Exactly. There's ways around that. The season before in 2011, Stone Cold was just the guy that got to pick who was cut. Yeah. Obviously, the trainers helped him decide who it was, but he was the one that got to make the final. Even WWE was like, Stone Cold, you get the final say. Yeah. The fans, I think, should still be involved, but at the same time,
to some extent,
they should not decide who wins. I'm sorry. They should, because WWE, first off, fans don't get to decide who wins championship matches.
Kind of, but
in a way, yeah. You're right. And just like in a way, they would decide who's the winner of Tough Enough would be, but they shouldn't be the actual bookers of who wins Tough Enough. That's ridiculous.
I'll put it this way: it's if you go to an indie promotion, the most liked guy isn't always the best one, and the one that can actually do stuff.
Absolutely.
It's a local home hero or something like that. But that doesn't mean that WWE's going to come and scout him and want to bring him to NXT.
Right. It's to a troll extent. I know troll.
Oh, yeah.
ZZ is like the perfect choice.
That's the only reason I vote for ZZ.
Exactly.
Is
it's
because
like such a
nobody wants
it's the fun troll thing
to
do. But we obviously all know he will not make it. If he wins, he's not going to win.
Exactly.
He's
but
not.
It's funny. It's funny to me. That's the only reason I vote for him.
It's them getting that stupid fan voting idea thrown right back in their face. Next, we're going to talk about something that happened at Raw last night. We won't make a prediction, but I wanted to get our thoughts on it. Stardust gets in his face, shoves him. Then he comes in, tackles him in the ring, punches him around. Barrett saves Stardust. Neville kind of backs up Amell. They make a tag team match at SummerSlam. It's official. It's official.
In my time in watching wrestling, which is about 2.5, 3 years now, they really haven't done the celebrity in the ring stuff like I'll watch as much like you can watch on the WWE Network. But that was cool as shit last night.
And it looked good too.
Yeah.
It looked good. I know he's a celebrity, and obviously I'm not gonna clearly go out and say, oh, he could be a wrestler after this, because he has his own profession. He needs to stick to it. But
we need him to stick to it. But
Stephen Amell is clearly athletic enough, clearly smart enough, and clearly
a big
has
enough
a good
fan.
Exactly, has a fan base, and being a fan to have this position and make it work.
From a business standpoint, this has to be the biggest cross-promotion that WWE's done in a really long time.
Considering he's in the ring and actually has a chance to be good in the ring. You're absolutely right.
Yes. Plus, all the fans that he's going to bring over, and maybe all these wrestling fans are going to start watching his show to figure out who the hell he is.
I mean, I've only seen it a few times. It's not like I've seen an outpour of it. But I have seen multiple fans online say that they will be watching SummerSlam, even though they don't like wrestling, because Stephen Amell's on there.
Might as well. It's probably going to be free anyways.
Exactly.
So.
It's free for new network subscribers, so why the hell does it matter? What comes of this? What is good other than it being a good match? Like, what is it to get out of this? What is it? What should we get out of this as fans?
What you should get out of it is feeling like WWE finally created a good storyline. That is really the only thing.
That is point number one.
That is really all you can do, because he's not going to be a returning character all the time because of his filming schedule and stuff like that, and it'd just be tough on him.
And at the same time, me personally, I would rather have Cody Rhodes, obviously.
Oh,
but if Cody wants to be Stardust, they're doing it perfectly. They're going this comic book thing with it as well.
I agree. I hope it doesn't happen. I think it's going to happen, but I don't want it to. And you brought up that point last night, and I just thought about it, and I was like, damn, Stardust is going to die after this Sunday. I mean,
seriously,
it's just.
I mean, it all signs point to Stardust, and obviously King Barrett, which I don't even want to talk about. He seems pointless in this.
Well, let's talk about it for a little bit. Let's talk about who do you think it could have been besides King Barrett?
Should have been Bo Dallas. And I'm not. I laugh, but I'm not kidding. It should have been Bo Dallas. If I had to pick someone else, you have to go someone that's more on that character route. I would maybe go Sheamus.
That was what I was going to say.
That was considering he's Mr. Money in the Bank, and he didn't have to have him lose the fight. Still made him look bigger, get him a celebrity involvement. There was a multitude.
I think why it should have been Sheamus is so he could say, "Hey, I'm a movie star. I'm in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
with Stephen Amell,"
and say, "I'm the better character." Come on!
Didn't click in their head. They're like,
Randy and Sheamus. Movie together.
Randy and Sheamus.
Sheamus is the bad guy in the movie, and Stephen Amell's the good guy. How can you not make those two come together like that? Still, think it should have been Sheamus. Stephen Amell is going to be great. I think it's really going to bring up the view total for SummerSlam.
Agreed. Next, we'll talk about, because I know we might want to dive into it a little bit next week, so we'll go ahead and get it out of the way this week. And we'll talk about Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Think of the build-up, just strictly build-up so far.
I think the build-up has been subpar compared to their WrestleMania build-up.
I agree.
And I just feel like it's good, but it's not what it should be.
And I think what WWE wants us, the fans, to think, even though sometimes, obviously we don't think that way, is they want us to think the start of the WrestleMania build-up into the match through SummerSlam is what we consider the build-up to the SummerSlam match. It's a year and a half worth of build-up. Is what obviously it's. I mean,
I can understand where you could say that,
but
because Paul Heyman would always bring up, "Hey, he beat the Undertaker," and stuff like that.
Right. That's what they want us to think.
Not because Undertaker wasn't making appearances. Undertaker wasn't.
He had one WrestleMania match against Bray Wyatt that everyone seems to forget.
Yeah.
What is your complete honest expectation for the match?
As of right now, I don't know.
It's up in the air because we really don't.
It's up in the air because you come from the aspect of saying Undertaker lost at Mania, so he has to win at SummerSlam to redeem himself. But then you come from the aspect of saying if Brock loses, there's always somebody that can take him out.
First off, we need a no DQ match. This is being a regular match. It's not what it needs.
Yeah.
Considering after you have a brawl like they did a few weeks ago, you would have thought, if they're going all at it, we might as well just make it a DQ match. So then it's more like a fight.
Brock's the kind of guy where if you put Seth Rollins with him, he's great. If you put somebody else with him, like say put a Zack Ryder, he's not going to bring Zack Ryder up by any means.
No.
But Undertaker, who knows how Undertaker is physically right now?
Does anyone?
Does he even know?
Does he? I mean, and this is the Undertaker. We are talking about one of the greatest of all time. But is he maybe pushing himself a little too far?
I think he should have waited until WrestleMania next year. But
which I completely agree. They should have done the rematch at WrestleMania next year. Oh, who knows what could happen during the match? Maybe a referee gets knocked out or something. So then it's like, everything goes. Anything could happen where they could book it as like a solid, good match. I just think it needs to be like a fight. It needs to be like a fight.
Yeah, but
it's not going to work well with suplexes after suplexes.
Well, I don't think physically he could take that.
Exactly.
That's another thing is how many accidental stiffs would he be able to take in the ring? We all know Brock Lesnar's not the most careful guy.
No. You can ask Kofi Kingston's neck about that.
So if you think about it, is Brock actually going to maybe try to take it easy on him?
And from the way it all seems, that is going to be the main event of the show.
It has potential to be a great match, but I think it has a higher percentage of potential that's just going to be an okay match.
I would say it's going to be about the same level of Bray Wyatt Undertaker, if I had to say.
And neither ending, having Taker win or having Brock win,
none of it's good or
doesn't
bad.
Really accomplish anything.
It does. I don't think it really doesn't.
So, in my opinion,
I understand, like, promotional-wise, like, this is a fucking huge match. That makes sense. But if it doesn't make sense after SummerSlam,
then what's the point?
Then what's the point? Right. If you guys have any questions, make sure to send them in to the Twitter page or down in the comments below, of course.
Yes. We'll make a video next week. And actually, Monday, I want to try live periscoping from our Twitter account.
Periscope, baby.
After matches. I feel like that'll be a good way to do our reviews each week.
Right, absolutely. And we'll talk about each match.
So you can catch us, watch out for this on Twitter. We're at 2guys1bell. And again, we want to thank you for all our new subscribers. I think
our live reaction video.
We gained like 14 or something like that.
Sorry for not filming The Undertaker. That was just really unexpected.
Yeah. And to the person who keeps commenting that we hate on John Cena fucking sucks. All right? So just go shoot yourself in the face because I'm tired of reading your comments. Use punctuation. Everything doesn't need to be in caps all the time, for Christ's sake. God, I want to reply so bad to you in the comments sometimes.
Oh, by the way, shout out to my boy for appearing last night.
Respect the beard, bitches.